Well, it's almost time for the new year, Kathy, and I would love it if I could see you. But there you are. You're
Happy
fading.
New
Happy New Year.
Year!
You're fading in and out of existence over there. But oh
Happy New
my goodness,
Year!
what in the world are you doing, Kathy? What are you wearing?
Happy New Year!
Yes,
Well,
happy New Year to you too.
Jason, we've talked about my travels before, and
No
even
kidding.
though this is not the normal, I'm going to have to take this off just because. Huh! Okay.
Oh my
All
gosh.
right. This is my friend.
Your friend, huh? Now
My
this is
friend.
not your boyfriend like you have for
No, that comes to
high vis.
outreach events with me and wears safety gear. No, this is just my friend.
Oh,
So
okay.
this is a mask that is from Bali, and even though it is used during their New Year celebrations, which do not coincide with our New Year celebrations, I wanted to bring him on because I want us all to celebrate the New Year. And what this mask is supposed to do is supposed to scare away all the evil and bad stuff and leave it
Oh,
behind so that we can start out fresh and clean, attracting all the good for the next year.
kind of like taking one big shower to just knock off all of that grime from the previous year and move on into the next one. Is that correct?
Exactly. So, just New Year's is one of those holidays that, it has a lot of similarities in the way that it is celebrated throughout the world. And different traditions celebrate a new year, not always on the same calendar year as we do, or in the
Sure.
same way. And that
Good point.
doesn't make any of the traditions better or worse. It just is a different way of celebrating it. So, that's a tradition that I learned when I was traveling in Indonesia, in Bali. And when I grew up, I learned other traditions to welcome the new year. And so
Sure.
I have quite a few friends that I grew up with that, for various reasons think that I may have lost my marbles along the way. And one of them may or may not be that I like to jump on top of my furniture, stand on my couch at prior to the stroke of midnight, and when the clock strikes 12, you leap off of your couch into the new year.
Oh, I see. I did this once in a dorm room at the University of Oregon, and I jumped off onto the floor. And let's just say I almost got kicked out of the dorm room because of the massive shimmying that happened to my downstairs neighbor. Well, is that anything that could potentially happen if I tried to do that same type of celebration, Kathy?
I guess choose your furniture, choose your location. Just be smart about it.
No
Which,
doubt.
everybody celebrates in different ways. And one of the
Yes.
ways that many people celebrate the new year is by making New Year's resolutions. So,
Yes.
Jason, do you make New Year's resolutions?
I do make some New Year's resolutions. Of course, I've tried all of the traditional New Year's resolutions, dieting, more
Mm,
exercise,
mm,
you name it. Try to wear, different hats on a daily basis, change my clothes more often,
mm.
that kind of stuff.
Change your clothes more often.
But well, yeah. I mean, notice I always wearing my black work shirt and so forth, which I have a couple of those, by the way. So I do. But change it up. Look, kind of try a new look or something, and that's traditionally the kind of stuff that I have. But one thing I'm really excited about here in 2023, really
Can you
is to.
believe it?
I know it just seems like yesterday that you and I started doing the
Yeah.
show and just crazy stuff. But we have New Year's resolutions that we'd like to maybe try to show you in the world of transit. And I think there's some pretty good ones that we can go over here to kind of help people understand. And these things are maybe not so much as tips, but there are things like, hey, just get out and try it.
Mm-hmm.
It make your 2023 the time where you try transit. You've been
Right.
putting it off for every year for the past 5 years. Well, get out there and give it a shot and see what happens. And so, Kathy, I'm excited about this show, and I'm very happy that your friend was able to accompany you today. And thank you very much for the story of what I might have to go home and do that. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do that just for the fun of it. I'll jump off something. I don't have to worry about downstairs neighbors.
There you
Huh.
go.
That might be fun. But
Just what
hey,
would your daughters think if you suddenly are climbing on the furniture at midnight?
I would be the coolest person in the world. I
Right?
would be. I have, yes.
You can tell them that they need to jump, get on top of the, stand on the furniture.
Yes.
Just
Yeah.
don't get me in trouble with your wife.
I, I no, no, we would not do that, Kathy. But who knows? I'll report back next week, let you know if anything did happen like that. But
All right, sounds good.
so
So
Kathy,
I think
yes,
your
let's do it.
idea of not setting yourself up to make resolutions that maybe you may not be as successful at, and, soft shoeing into trying transit, making that a resolution for the year, I think is
Yeah,
you're not setting yourself up and saying, I'm going to take transit once a week. Of course, you can say that if you'd
sure.
like, and
Absolutely.
make sure that you do that, or you're going to try carpooling a
Oh,
couple
yeah.
times this year, or you're going to ask your employer about a van pool.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many things that you can just get out there and try for the first time if you haven't done it
Mm-hmm.
before. And of course, there's always a lot of support that you have here, and Kathy and myself, we're here for you. If you have any questions, give us a call. But really, in 2023, one thing I would think would be really neat. Maybe you live in an area where you do have a bus that goes by, or it's pretty easy. You see it go by, what, 5 times a day,
Mm-hmm.
and your work is just about a mile down the road, not too far, on the same route. Maybe you should try that. Maybe you should take a look at what route that is, and maybe think about putting the car away. So Kathy, for someone who has used the bus for fun on some occasions, that has a little bit of understanding of it now, looking for their commuting to their job and stuff, maybe they can actually try a different way of using transit. And you were just let's just say somebody was just at Disneyland, right? Disneyland,
Right.
by the way, has an awesome transit,
Oh my gosh.
infrastructure,
They
right?
do. Yes.
So you're
Holy
used to it.
moly.
So
Yeah.
we've been there, right? We know what transit's like. And you come home and you decide to drive your car 550 times out of the year. Take the bus, or
Mhm.
Kathy, all the different type of options you have. Just give it a shot. It is important for you to just jump out and say, I'm going to use it a little differently. I know I'm not at Disneyland, but by golly, I can get to work, which is just 1 mile down the road, right?
Right. Yes. And I mean, if you regularly ride the bus and you drive your car to the bus stop, maybe you try riding your bike to the bus stop and throwing your bike on your bus and on the bus instead of driving even that
Yeah.
little bit.
There was a time, and you might remember this. I mean, I had ridden my bicycle long before I met you, but there was a time where I was driving my car every day, or my truck, mind you, every day here to work. And I just always thought, well, I should try to ride my bicycle to work. I need it was a New Year's resolution at one point, was I need a little more exercise. So let's ride my bike. But we never did it. I never rode my bike. But just one day I said, you know what? I need to learn. I wasn't thinking of it this way, but yeah, I do need to learn a different transportation option. I didn't know you at the time, but I still said, I got to get out there. I got to ride my bicycle. Why am I driving my truck all the time and wasting all that gas?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're talking hundreds of dollars a week just to get yourself to work. So
Mm-hmm.
I just jumped in and rode my bicycle. I was scared the first time. I didn't know everything I needed to know, but I felt like I was pretty safe and I knew how to ride my bicycle. So I just jumped on the bike and rode to work. And so that was me utilizing a different transit option.
Absolutely. And I know that, there are different communities in our area, and I will just mention Cannon Beach as one of them.
Absolutely.
When I lived in Cannon Beach and worked in Cannon Beach, I would say 75% of the year, it is much easier to jump on your bike and ride your bike to work than
That's
it is
cool.
to get in your car. And so that was
Yeah.
one of my favorite ways to get around when I lived there, was just to jump in on my bike and head to work.
Yep. Well, that's pretty neat that you mentioned that too, because that's a constant struggle, right, with us around here. And we're going to talk about maybe this a
Because I
little
didn't use the P word, because that P word is so difficult in so many places, especially when the T's are in town.
Yes, exactly. But how can we, in other areas of our community? So you just mentioned a dream for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to live in an area where it was easier for me to bike than it was to drive. How can we in the new year, how can we tell someone out there who doesn't work for transit, who just is, who rides the bus, who maybe sits on a advisory council out there somewhere, how can we tell them to help make transit better for us over here? I mean, telling people about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
We mention the word advocate all the time. I mean,
Yeah.
how do we get to that point, Kathy?
Well, sometimes advocating is just telling your story.
Yeah,
Is just saying, hey, I do use that side of the road. I do use that shoulder. And because often it's the impression of some people, because when they happen to be driving or walking or using that area, they don't see somebody, or maybe they see one person. Their impression is that nobody ever uses it and nobody around here rides or walks to work on their bicycle or feet, or,
right.
not in a car. And
Yep,
so just by telling your story and telling people, whether they're a city councilor or a commissioner, or writing a letter to ODOT, because you know what?
sure.
They do listen, and there's lots of ways to write letters to ODOT. And if you look up ODOT listens, you might find their Facebook page. You might find a specific link that can tell you how to send a letter to ODOT, because sometimes that's all people need to hear, is they need to have it reinforced, sometimes officially, and
Yeah.
sometimes just, anecdotally, that they need to hear, hey, I use that road, not in a car.
Yeah, that is so right. So true. We do need to ensure that in 23, definitely, and this year, that we advocate more for that kind of stuff. We need to, like you say, have our voices heard by just, in some cases, simply telling our story. You and I have opportunities to get out there and contact individuals and have really good conversations with people who, in most cases, have decision-making power, or at least stronger advocate power. But
Mm-hmm.
for those of us out there who just want a better biking lane, maybe well, dare I say, a protected biking lane, more than just even a Sharrow.
Mm-hmm.
We Sharrows out there, people are paths that both cars and bicycles and people who walk share that particular lane. So cars out there, if you see a cyclist on a Sharrow or on a road out there, share that, please. Anyhow, having that ability to be able to tell your story, go to a local board. I mean, just come to one of our board meetings for Sunset Empire Transportation District. You can
Mm-hmm.
spend at least 3 minutes during your time that the public has time to talk, and you can share a 3-minute story about how we could better our service for you, to
Mm-hmm.
help you get around a little more. Maybe the bus doesn't come close enough for you to be able to get there. Maybe you have to walk a mile to the bus stop. Come tell us to come a little closer. We can see what we can do, maybe. Who knows? But tell your story. Explain to the individuals who will listen that we want a better service around here. We want better access around here for people with disabilities and older adults. We want that kind of stuff. We don't want to go into this year and the year after with only driving a single occupancy vehicle as the primary choice, which sadly it still is. And I think it's going to be the primary choice for people for quite a while, but let's reduce that. Let's take
Right.
it.
So
Yeah,
I
let's
just
take it
thought of
down.
something. You can be less of an advocate, or think, if you have a hard time with the word advocate,
Sure.
think of yourself as a myth buster.
Hey, there
You're
we
a
go.
myth buster. Bust that myth that nobody ever bikes or walks in our area.
That's good.
Bust that myth.
Oh, yeah, I would love to see that happen, because yes, there are people who like, what, you ride a bicycle? Are you crazy? That's the first thing that people ask me all the time, and I say, well, if enjoying riding my bicycle, enjoying getting healthier, and enjoy saving gas money and keeping emissions lower and stuff like that, if that makes me crazy, I guess I'm crazy, right?
Well,
So
the
yeah,
thing is that the more that we shout it out and the more we bust that myth that nobody's using it, the safer things are made. And
absolutely.
really, we are going through somewhat of a revolution in road planning and transportation planning
Yep.
right now, nationwide. And so it is happening that things are changing,
Yeah.
but they'll change more in our specific areas if we're standing up saying, it's not true that nobody. Rurally, we use bike paths and go by foot as well. It's not just for urban areas.
Sure.
So, shout it out.
Absolutely. And and while you're shouting that out too, and while you're telling your story, it's important to do the same thing with others. So part of what I want people to do as they try transit maybe for the first time or get back to doing transit, maybe they were away for a little while in this new year, that they get out there and do one of the things that I think a lot of people forget to do, Kathy, when they choose public transit as their option. Get to know the rest of the community. You don't have to be the most outgoing individual out there, but get out there and understand your community. And there's really no other way better to do that than to get on public transit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Share in a car or a van pool. Go on a Peloton, which is a group of cyclists out there. Get to know people, get to know the riders on the bus. And that will be one of the most important opportunities, most important ways, I guess you can say, to be able to pass your information that you have, pass that good concern for those options in your local community by getting to know the people that you get out there and share the bus or carpool or van pool with. It's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that theory that things are more fun with friends. So
Yes.
you bring somebody that you already know to an activity and you learn it together, or you get to know somebody that can be kind of your mentor as you're learning
That's a great idea.
skill. Then think of it as building your community, building your friends. And so
Yep.
everything's more fun with friends.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Kathy, when you get that level of confidence, right? And you've gotten that understanding of how to use public transit in whatever form that you decide to use it, by passing that along and passing the skills that you've learned on to others will only help embolden us moving forward to try to make things better. I mean, here's the thing. What happens for a lot of people out there, especially when they try to you're right. Maybe advocate's not the kind of word to use here, but to really pursue having more public transportation options, a more robust system in our area. Sometimes we get really excited and we get to the point of being able to speak in front of a group of people that really want to hear what we have to say, and we have nobody behind us to support us, right? We're like, oh boy, we're all my friends. Oh, I forgot to pass along some of that when I was on the bus. I forgot to come alongside someone and get to know people from my community and maybe share in that same thing. Maybe they share the same desire for you to have a better transportation optioned, services in your area, and maybe they would have come along with you to help you out and to help get that message out. So it's important, get out there, know your community, know the people in your community, and pass along the skills that you've learned, and make it more comfortable for others as well too.
Absolutely. I mean, it's all about that building connections and building, connections are all different things, whether that's, your neighbor, your fellow rider, your way to get to work. Those are all connections. And, the more intricate and complete we make our webs, the better our lives are.
Yeah. When we make our lives better by, what do you say about the web? By increasing or
making it
enriching
more intricate. Yeah, we make it
intricate. By doing that, Kathy, I love the way you put that, because everything, you're right, is so interconnected. And if you pluck on one string over here, well, the other, it's going to ring over there. And I got to be honest with you, I don't like spiders at all. I can't stand them. I'm scared of them. As a matter of fact, I think there's one behind me right now that I have decided not to put on camera. But having said that, though, they're very connected, right?
Yes.
And we need to be very connected in that way, to our public transportation options, to the people who are using public transportation, and especially to ensuring that you yourself, the one using the service, can help try to make the service even better in the future.
Yep. Be part of that web. Make it strong. Be that link. And so, if you're an expert, make it your resolution this year to show somebody else how the transit system that you use works, whether that's biking or walking or taking the bus, carpooling, van pooling, all of those things. And if you're an expert at one, maybe add an element, all of those things make good resolutions, not the kind of resolutions like Jason was talking about to start out with that,
Yep. Nope.
everybody makes. I'm going to go to the gym every day. I'm going to, yeah, all of
Yep.
those. I'm not a fan. But this kind of a resolution I am a fan of because
Absolutely.
it's enriching to you, to your community, to all of us
Yep.
that we make those kinds of resolutions because sometimes that resolution is just, hey, I'm going to talk to my neighbors about carpooling.
Oh, yes. Being able to talk about those options is so important. And if you've got the ability to be able to do that, now I'm gonna send a shout out to all the individuals that I have travel trained. I hope you had a wonderful 2022, and I hope you're gonna have a great 2023. But listen, if you have become confident in your public transportation skills, if what you learned from me you have taken and put and grown upon that, hey, one thing you can do this year is call me up and maybe ask me how you can. I'll give you a free bus ride if you'd help somebody. If you'd come across somebody and volunteer your time, maybe just to ride the bus and to help somebody out in the same way that I would, do it. Give me a call. Let's do it. We got to get out there. We have to support each other. Kathy and I are two people. We do a lot. We do come across with a lot of individuals and talk to them and stuff. But hey, we can use your help. We can use your help to make this transportation community that we have here even bigger and more robust. Have the best year we've ever had in 2023. I think it can
So,
happen.
Jason, and I'm going to double down on your challenge you just issued to those
Yes,
people that you've travel trained. And I'll say if you travel train and you're part of a group, a club, an organization, whether it's Rotary or whether it's a group of people that play Pokemon together,
absolutely.
get those people together and call us up and we'll do a little special event for you.
Sure. Let's do that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We'll
Especially the
do a
Pokemon
little
thing.
special. Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah,
it
I
doesn't
had to give
matter
up my.
what type of group. If you're part of
Yes,
the senior center, if you're part of a condominium organization, if you are part of your chess club, the Pokemon group, it might be helpful to go catch some different Pokemon if you knew
absolutely.
how to ride the bus. So,
Well,
give us
that's
a shout. We'll have a special event for you.
so. As we close out the show, remember, try transit. If that's one thing that you get out of this show, as you move forward and you get that transit resolution, and you've been meaning to do it for years and years and years, and you just haven't taken that plunge, just do it. And we're
Yep.
here for you. Remember, we're here for you. If you're willing and able to make that transit resolution to try transit this year, give us a call if you need a little help and encouragement to get out there to do it. We're
We've
here for
got
you.
your back.
We do. We've got your
Got your
back.
back. So,
Yes.
with that note, we're going to
Yes.
shove out 2022 and welcome in
That's right.
2023. You all have a great last day of 2022, and we'll see you in 2023.
All right. See you in 2023, Kathy. Take care, everybody.